Crash course on Russia and origins of Russian authoritarianism. Russia is the world's largest country, spanning 2 continents and 11 time zones. Its history is long and complex, and it has been shaped by a variety of factors, including geography, culture, and politics. One of the most significant features of Russian history is its tradition of authoritarianism, which has been a defining characteristic of the country for centuries. Here are 12 facts about Russia. 1. Largest country. Russia is the largest country in the world, spanning 2 continents and covering over 17 million square kilometers. 2. Longest railway. The Trans-Siberian Railway, the longest railway in the world, runs through Russia, connecting Moscow with Vladivostok, a distance of over 9,000 kilometers. 3. Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal, located in Russia, is the deepest lake in the world, with a maximum depth of 1,642 meters. 4. Volga River. The Volga River, the longest river in Europe, flows through Russia and is a major transportation route for goods and people. 5. Population. Russia is the 9th most populous country in the world, with a population of over 144 million people. 6. Largest city. Moscow is the largest city in Russia, with a population of over 12 million people. 7. Cyrillic Alphabet. The Russian language uses the Cyrillic Alphabet, which was invented in the 9th century. 8. Cold weather. Russia is known for its cold weather, with some regions experiencing temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius in the winter. 9. Famous composers. Russia has produced many famous composers, including Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, and Stravinsky. 10. World War II. Russia played a crucial role in World War II, with the Soviet Union suffering the largest number of casualties of any country involved in the war. 11. Famous writers. Russia has also produced many famous writers, including Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Chekhov. 12. Vodka. Vodka is the national drink of Russia and is made from grains such as wheat or rye. It is traditionally served ice-cold and is a staple at celebrations and gatherings. These facts illustrate the vastness and diversity of Russia, as well as its important contributions to culture and history. Origins of Russian authoritarianism. Russia's tradition of authoritarianism can be traced back to its early history. The country's first ruler, Rurik, established a monarchy in the 9th century that lasted for over 700 years. During this time, Russia was ruled by a succession of strongmen who wielded absolute power and had little regard for the rights of their subjects. In the 17th century, Peter the Great came to power and began a program of modernization and westernization. While Peter's reforms helped to modernize Russia, they also strengthened the power of the monarchy and created a centralized state that was highly authoritarian. This trend continued under Catherine the Great, who ruled in the late 18th century and expanded the power of the monarchy even further. The 19th century saw the rise of intellectual and social movements that challenged the authoritarian nature of Russian society. However, these movements were largely suppressed by the government, and by the turn of the 20th century, Russia was still a highly centralized and authoritarian state. The Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 brought an end to the monarchy and established the Soviet Union. While the Soviet Union was founded on principles of communism and equality, it quickly became an authoritarian state, with power centralized in the hands of the Communist Party and its leader, Joseph Stalin. After the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russia underwent a period of political and economic turmoil. While there were hopes that the country would move towards democracy, the reality was very different. Under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, Russia has become increasingly authoritarian, with power centralized in the hands of the president and his inner circle. Interesting stories and examples. Ivan the Terrible. Ivan the Terrible was one of Russia's most infamous rulers. He came to power in 1547 and quickly established a centralized state that was highly authoritarian. Ivan was notorious for his cruelty and brutality, and he is said to have murdered his own son in a fit of rage. The Romanovs. The Romanov dynasty ruled Russia for over 300 years, from 1613 to 1917. The dynasty was characterized by its autocratic rule and its resistance to reform. The last Romanov ruler, Nicholas II, was overthrown during the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917. The Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was founded in 1922 and lasted until 1991. During this time, it was one of the world's most powerful and influential states. However, it was also highly authoritarian, with power centralized in the hands of the Communist Party and its leader, Joseph Stalin. Putin's Russia. Since coming to power in 2000, Vladimir Putin has been accused of consolidating power and limiting political freedoms in Russia. His government has been accused of suppressing opposition voices, limiting press freedom, and suppressing civil society. The Pussy Riot case. In 2012, a punk rock group called Pussy Riot staged a protest against Putin's government in a Moscow church. The protest resulted in the arrest and imprisonment of several members of the group, and it became a symbol of the government's crackdown on dissent. Navalny's arrest. In 2021, opposition leader Alexei Navalny was arrested upon his return to Russia after being poisoned with a nerve agent. His arrest sparked protests across the country, and he was ultimately sentenced to prison for violating parole. In conclusion, Russia's tradition of authoritarianism has deep roots in its history, going back centuries. While there have been periods of reform and modernization, the country has consistently returned to a highly centralized and authoritarian form of government. This has been shaped by a variety of factors, including geography, culture, and politics. In recent years, Russia has faced criticism for its increasingly authoritarian government, which has limited political freedoms, suppressed opposition voices, and suppressed civil society. While there have been some challenges to this system, including protests and opposition movements, the government has generally been successful in maintaining its grip on power. As Russia moves forward, it will be important to consider how its history of authoritarianism has shaped its current political system and to look for ways to promote greater political openness and democracy. Only by confronting its past and embracing democratic values can Russia truly move towards a brighter future. Here is a poem on origins of Russian authoritarianism. In Russia's history, authoritarianism reigns. A legacy that echoes through its domains. From ancient czars to Soviet rule, a central power has been the constant jewel. The Mongol horde swept in and left their mark, leaving a culture with a need for a strong czar. Ivan the Terrible, with his ruthless hand, set the tone for authoritarianism to command. Peter the Great sought to modernize, but his autocratic rule did not compromise. Catherine the Great brought enlightenment, but her despotic rule showed no contentment. The Bolsheviks rose to power in a violent coup. Their Marxist ideology, a call to renew. Lenin's leadership was one of totalitarian might, his iron fist clenching with all his might. Stalin took control with his purges and fear, his grip on power unyielding, with no one near. Khrushchev's reforms tried to change the state, but Brezhnev's return sealed authoritarianism's fate. Gorbachev's reforms were too little too late. As the Soviet Union crumbled in its weight, Putin's rise saw a return to central power. A democracy's facade, authoritarianism's flower. Russia's history of authoritarian rule. A legacy that continues to wield its tool. From czars to Putin, the story remains. A central power's grip, forever ingrained. *****. Start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html?aid equals 7989335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for kind support our AnHub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.